Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast, a weekly podcast all about video games and board games. My name is David, and I'm joined every single week by my younger brother, Devin. Devin, are you feeling like my younger brother today, who's only 18 years old?
Wait, huh?
I don't know. We were just talking about age, and you were saying you feel like your body can't keep up anymore, and I was hoping that you were still feeling young.
Oh man, the 30s are brutal.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's not that bad. You kind of still feel young, but you start to notice some things. You're like, this is downhill from here.
Yeah, like I fall asleep, like just on the couch after work often.
Oh yeah,
which is different.
Mm-hmm.
Played basketball a couple weeks ago. Got incredibly drained and winded very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. It is tough.
We just went on vacation, and in this Airbnb, we'll call it, wherever we were renting, had a ton of stairs, long flights of stairs, and then another one. There were 3 levels.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, a couple days in there, I was like, something's wrong with me.
Yeah, those stairs were tough. But I guess you're wiser. It's like what they say.
I would say today I'm the best person I've been in my life.
Wow. That's amazing.
Heck yeah. I'm always trying to improve. I look in the mirror, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Let's fix that. Okay.
I think that's what most people want. That's all you can ask for, I think. A little better than yesterday.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool, Dev. Well, you brought it up, so let's start with the famous trip to St. George. It was snowing here in the Salt Lake Valley.
Mm-hmm.
While we were gone. So it was actually very good timing, in my opinion, because the same kind of cold front that brought the snow here also brought the temperature down a little bit in St. George. So it was high 60s, low 70s. And to me, that's right on the money.
Oh, that's chef's kiss, especially for golf.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was a little windy a couple days. Wish the wind would have gone away. But hey, it was fun. Yeah, we did some golfing. We swam. The place we stayed at had this big, what would you call that? Like a little lagoon? Little water thing?
Yeah, it's a good name.
Mm-hmm. A lagoon. They had a regular swimming pool, hot tubs and stuff. Then they had this huge, kind of, smile-shaped lagoon that was not heated. So it was actually very cold.
Mm-hmm.
Water, at least. It was, I think, 10 feet deep at the deepest. And, man, I don't know. I would say it was how far across do you think? 800 feet? 1,000 feet across? Farther than that to the other side?
Yeah, it's... yeah, you're probably right. It was big.
I'm not sure. It was very big. So it was kind of cool. They had some sand beach areas kind of bordering it in some spots and some shallow areas. Some people were paddle boarding in the middle.
I got to paddleboard.
Are you good at that? I feel like I'm too tall, and so my center of gravity is way up there, and I'm like, ooh.
I was doing it on my knees, and then my feet fell asleep, so I can transition from my knees to my feet on the water, so I felt good about that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is nice.
I was like, was anybody watching that? Just so they could witness how great that was.
Yeah.
No, that was cool. What else did we do? We had a massive golf cart that was lifted.
Oh yeah, how many seats was that? 2, 4, 6, 8 seats? Or was it just 6?
I want to say
there was a front row behind it, and then just the 2 reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought there was maybe one more. I think you're right. Big 6-seater.
Yeah, we had that. We went to a place like Topgolf called
Big Shots.
Big Shots. They were not big fans of us.
No.
It was an interesting experience, definitely.
I think you described it very well. Of you felt like they didn't want us there the whole time we were there.
Yeah, it was just we were inconveniencing their business by
paying
them to be there.
It was really weird. Some of their machines weren't working. The balls didn't auto dispense, so we had to open the lid of the machine and grab them out. And I don't know. Not a huge fan of big shots golf, but it was still fun. You still get some swings.
Yeah, it was.
So it was fine. I think going to the golf courses down there was more fun. We only did 2 rounds, but hey, it was good to get a little break away. And you were probably the most consistent one there. Just ripping them.
I don't know why. Because we were doing the driving range beforehand, and I couldn't do it. Got on the course and knew it mattered and clutched up, for the team.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you were the most chill. You were just like vibing. Whereas I would hit a bad shot and get really mad, and same with our other brother.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was just like
I don't care.
Limiting the emotions. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm with my siblings. We don't get to do this often. This is cool. And I was just hitting well.
Yeah, you were. It was fun. Fun. Yeah, I'm very excited. I super into golf. I joined a golf league. I'm going next week for my first tournament match in the golf league. A little nervous.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, my friend started the league, and they had somebody drop out, and we've been talking about it for a little bit. So he actually had 2 people drop out. So our other friend, who's quite a bit better than me, and then I was invited, which was very nice. I'm sure I'm going to bring up the tail end, and some of them are very good, but it'll be fun. I think we play 12 or 13 matches. So you have a 2-week period where you have to play at a specific course, and you have to play the front 9, and you have to play with somebody else from the league to verify your score. And then 2 or 3 times during the season we have our majors, where everyone will go together and we'll do 18 holes, and then those are the events that count the most for the point system or something. It'll just be fun. Go play all the courses around and get some swings in. I'm actually got a club that I bought when I was 17. It's the only club I have that isn't extended, and so you can see I've got the grip ripped off over there.
Mm-hmm.
Bought a new grip today, and I'm just waiting for the new extension piece and epoxy and tapes to show up in the next couple of days.
And you're going to do it yourself?
I'm going to try. We'll see.
Wow.
See if I totally ruin it. If so, I'm going to have to buy a different 60-degree wedge, but hey, I had one. Thought it was better than spending $100 on one. So anyways, yeah, golf, so fun. What else did we do in St. George? We watched quite a bit of basketball. I feel like we did more.
Climbed some rocks, caught some lizards.
Yeah.
Got some ice cream, went to a candy shop.
We did. Judd's. Good old Judd.
All the kids went on a carousel, and while you guys were doing that, we just wandered off and found a library in a building, and it was multiple 3 levels. Cool. And so that was cool. Just walk around some library you've never been in. It was an interesting experience, especially because you have to be quiet.
Yeah.
And all there is to do in there is either stare at your book or stare at each other. And so everyone's staring at each other in silence. It's an interesting experience.
I haven't been to a library in a long time. Was it a public library?
I think so.
Wow. Then we did walk through some antique shops as well.
Yeah, I always enjoy that.
Some weird things in those.
Weird stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of some of the stuff in those.
Ditto. And I feel like sometimes the antique shop owner knows what they have. Okay, this thing basically worthless, $5. This thing actually very valuable, $1,000. But then some of the antique shop owners think everything they have is valuable. And I'm like, you've got half a shelf over there, and you want $300 for that half a shelf?
Half a shelf. Everybody's been wanting that shelf.
Yeah, that half a shelf was I don't know, it must have been on the set of what's a famous movie? The Godfather. I have no idea.
Yeah, as an antique shop owner, it'd probably be tough because you want to get the most value out of the random things you have in there, but you're also banking on the fact that some perfect person comes in knowing they want that thing and understands the value as well.
Right. Because most of the things I don't understand, and I'm like,
no.
That seems way overpriced. I would never pay, $10 for that old antique spoon. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's just taking clutter from their antique shop, and then it would end up being clutter in my house.
Yeah, unless you have a perfect spot for something, most things end up
Says the
being
guy
tossed.
with 400 board games behind him. So
That's a good point.
yeah, those are fun. Yeah, it was just good. It's good to be away from work for a little bit, just hanging out with family. Wish we could do it more. You realize like how expensive just surviving and living in this world is when you're on vacation. You're like, oh man, gas to get down there is like and back's like $100, and then every meal that we eat, there's 2 adults and 3 kids, and then even with our parents who very graciously like always rent the Verbos for us, which are thousands of dollars, and then more food and stuff to keep track of, and then we went to Big Shots and golfing a couple times, and that's a few more $100. It racks up so fast to do anything fun in this world.
Oh, it really does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vacation also opens your eyes to how important your family members are to you. Even the ones you don't see.
Yeah.
I think you're like, dang, I love this person.
Mm-hmm.
I see him once every 6 months, but I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, I agree. Our other brother I don't see very often, and I didn't realize he was into golf as much as he is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he went with us both days, and yeah, it was really fun. So hopefully I'll be able to go with him a bit more up here around home too. So yeah, you do forget sometimes when you don't see somebody. Like, oh yeah, I grew up with you. You're a good guy.
Yeah, salt of the earth.
Exactly. Cool. Well, other than St. George, Devin, I don't know that I have a lot new since last week, because last week we recorded, I edited it and then like posted it Friday morning, and that's when we left to St. George.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it was basically St. George until Tuesday afternoon, and then I've just been slammed at work yesterday and today, and now we're back. So,
yeah, nothing really new with me either. Just the vacation, getting back, putting a lot of work into stream stuff.
Yeah.
Twitch had some events, and then I overused my privileges on Twitch and got banned for a day.
Yeah, you did. It was a fun day though.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and it is weird because they're like ban hammer seems a little inconsistent, like when they choose to use it and not. But
yeah, it's probably hard to make that consistent though.
I bet
it's hard to watch everything everyone is doing.
I'm sure they have really smart algorithms that like ping like, okay, here's the 1,500 things that happened today that we think might need to be looked at, and then they probably have a human look at them or whatever. That's just a guess. I don't know. But,
I mean, it's a decent system.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah, that was kind of lame, but also kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
It's been a good week, almost a weekend already.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, Devin, looking at Super Movie Brothers for the week, I don't know that I've really watched almost anything, because other than NCAA basketball, I don't think we turned the TV on really while we were there. Like the kids watched some shows. I think you turned on like that David Blaine special on Disney Plus, and I watched that for like 10 minutes, which was kind of fun and just reminded me of that very old YouTube video. What the F, David Blaine?
The F. It's freaking Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its. Yeah, love that one.
I watched a little bit of the Daredevil TV series on Disney, a little bit of Mufasa. Swear I watched something else. I can't remember. I think maybe I might have finished that movie with Nicole Kidman, The Holland, or whatever that was.
Any good?
No, nah.
No?
Yeah. It was unmemorable to me.
Yeah. We finished, after we recorded last week, we watched the last episode of Reacher.
Yes.
I thought this 3rd season was pretty good. I don't know. 7 out of 10 to me. Like, good, fun, not amazing. Thought it was better than season 2, not as good as season 1. But, I don't know, it was fun. After we watched that, though, Devin, we were scrolling through Max.
Oh, heck yeah.
And found this weird looking show on Max. Had this, if you can imagine a Muppet, like on methamphetamine or something.
Yeah.
Like a twerking looking. Tweaking is the word I was looking for.
Yes, sir. You might
Tweaking
have been
looking
twerking.
Muppet. And so we clicked on it, some show called Infomercials, and then we were scrolling through the episodes, and one of them had the actor from Reacher on the front.
Yes, it was weird.
It was really weird. So we just clicked on it for a minute, and it's like a 10-minute little skit comedy of the show's called Infomercial, so it's like an infomercial of him trying to sell this kind of dog food that will like turn your dog really strong. And I don't think I've laughed that hard in a while. It was pretty ridiculous. And that's kind of their shtick, is they make these like spoofs on infomercials and other little short form skit comedy like that, where they just progressively get stranger and weirder and weirder and weirder. And it definitely follows that. So if you want to see something very weird, but also pretty funny, Google infomercials. And I think the episode is either called Alpha Dog or Alpha Chow, something like that. It's pretty funny.
Everyone should watch it.
I agree. It's very weird, but I loved it. I think that's probably it for Super Game Brothers, though. In St. George, we did play some games that we'll get to a little bit later. I think we'll probably hop in. Kind of a meaty episode this week with some stuff that just happened in the last couple of days. So let's hop on in. Just a quick little call out here. We do have Patreon, where you can access our podcast episodes 2 days early. Scratch that. I meant to say 3 days early. And get some other perks like being able to write into the show. So please follow us over there. You can follow the podcast completely for free. And you can also support us financially to get some cool perks. And that's how we keep the lights on over here. And they are bright lights. So
they are bright, yes.
They are so bright. We have to point them up at the ceiling and have the light bounce off the ceiling so it doesn't like burn our retinas off.
Yes, at 50% power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So please check that out. Patreon.com/SuperGameBrothers. We also have a giveaway going on our website, SuperGameBrothers.com. You can win a $100 gift card or a bundle of board games. Pretty fun games if you want to like start a little board game collection. I think they are good ones. So join that as well. Pretty simple. There's different ways to join, just kind of like following our social media pages and things like that. So make sure to join that. All right, Devin, getting into the normal rigmarole. We always start with new games to subscription services. And the first subscription service we always talk about is Board Game Arena, where you can play board games online very quickly. It does all the math and hard work for you. And they release a few new games a week usually. And they have over 1,000, I believe. So this week, it looks like the first one is Stone Spine Architects, which is a strategic card drafting game for 1 to 5 players where each architect competes to build a deadly underground dungeon, chamber by chamber. You play simultaneously, you draft cards and play them, put monsters, traps, treasure, and secret passages into your dungeon. It's from Thunderworks Games, who did they have a very Cartographers is one of their most famous ones. So I actually want to check this one out. I didn't love Cartographers, but I can see like the production value and kind of the design value is high, so I want to try this one as well. Then they have Board Game Arena in real life, the future of real-time board gaming. This is just a kind of I don't know what this is, to be honest. I didn't read it in advance, which I probably should have. But it looks like it's a blog post kind of going over their plans for turn-based, real-time, or real-life board gaming. And they've got some partnerships. The Guru app, Bar Aju, teamed up with a real-world game cafe. Bring your own dice, add extra time, drinks, record, rewind. So check that out, I guess, if you want to focus your Board Game Arena experience more on in-person stuff. I'll have to study that up a little bit more, too, because that is very new, seems. Then another one called Cayman or Come On, not sure. It's an abstract 2-player game. Setup is simple, 37 unique tokens, each combining one of 6 colors and 6 symbols, are placed across a hexagonal grid, and one blank token acts as a silent sentinel, blocking movement and shaping the battlefield. I do like a good abstract game. We talked about Pirates of Maracaibo last week, so those seem to be the 2 new games and the new initiative there for Board Game Arena this week. All right, Devin on Game Pass. Which, do you have Game Pass anymore?
I don't. Okay. I've considered doing a trial of it, though.
They have a new game, and I want to try it. It's one that hasn't been announced as coming to PlayStation. So I don't know. I might try and play it on my Rogue Ally or something if it can handle it pretty well. But for the first half of the month of April, they've kind of laid out the new games that are on here. And so let's take a look at them. First up, game near and dear to Devin's heart. This is the Ultimate Edition of Borderlands 3 on April 3rd, which is today. All you need is help, which is one that I really want to play. It's a co-op puzzle game where you play as like these fluffy little Tetris-shaped shapes, and you're trying to do different things like build specific shapes, or some of the levels have very different goals than that. Still Wakes the Deep, which is from the Chinese Room, and you're like, it says here you're trapped on an oil rig. Kind of has like a halfway horror vibe. Oh, it says an unknowable horror has come aboard. So I've heard it's pretty good, actually. War Groove 2 is a indie game that I've heard a lot of good things about. The first one, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition on April 8th. And then also on April 8th is Xbox's next big game. This one's called South of Midnight, and this is the one that I would want to try. I think it looks really cool. It has kind of this pastel paint looking like art style to it. And it's set in like the, I think, South. Yeah, it says the Deep South, actually. And there's like kind of like witch doctors and like big creatures and crocodiles and that kind of like Princess and the Frog kind of vibes.
Are they riding on like a catfish in the trailer for this?
I think they were.
It's talking?
Yeah.
Someone on TikTok told me to check this out.
Yeah, it the reviews went up for it today. I think it, like, its aggregate score is like in the 80s. And some reviewers that I trust say that everything about it is excellent, except the combat is just like mediocre.
It's like Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Beautiful game, kind of fun story. And then the combat was just like, been here, done this.
Like, yeah, exactly. Which sometimes I'm totally fine with, as long as it's not like horrendous. I'm like, I don't mind, like, I'm just smashing square, smacking some stuff for a little bit, as long as like the vibe is cool and just cool. I've heard the story's like really cool. It's broken into different like chapter stories, and they're like, some of them are fairly dark and about death and stuff. So I don't know. I kind of want to try this one out. I do hope it comes to PlayStation one day, but you know, I don't get to pick all of those things. I do imagine it will, but we'll see. All right, and then another one that's available day one with Game Pass is Commandos Origins. It says revisit the 6 iconic commandos from the original series. Elite stealth tactics gameplay in 2-player co-op multiplayer. I don't know what this one is. I'm going to scroll back up, see if there's a picture, because there's not a picture there. Oh, I see it there. Commandos. Never seen that cover. I don't think.
Idea.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. All right. Well, check that one out. Blueprints. I believe this one is also coming day one to PlayStation Plus Extra, if I am not mistaken. This is a genre-bending, atmospheric, architectural adventure where you explore an ever-changing manner of 45 shifting rooms. Can you find the rumored Room 46? Hunt Showdown 1896. What's the other one called? 1886? Is it a new one? It can't be. It can't be new, can it?
I assume it's a DLC, but I don't know.
A new era of the addictively unforgiving extraction shooter. We've played the original Hunt Showdown a few times. It is cool. I like the vibe a lot.
Agreed.
And the PlayStation 5 version is way better than the PlayStation 4 version, which was a little like rough. But I'm not sure what the difference is between this because I don't think 96 was the year in the one that we've played. I swear it was like 86. That cover does look the same though. I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering incorrectly. But check that one out if you like a cool, like kind of dark vibe and take on a battle royale game where it's like a bit more about stealth and like audio cues, and there's also like environmental monsters and creatures you have to fight and like summon spirits and stuff. It's pretty cool. All right, I think that's all, and then there's just a recap of the last few games that have come over. Some cool stuff on Game Pass: South of Midnight, Hunt Showdown. All you need is help, which is a cool looking puzzle game. Still Wakes the Deep, and Borderlands 3. I think that's a pretty solid first half of the month, to be honest.
Still Wakes the Deep was also recommended to me.
Really?
Yes, I went to download it because I think it's I think you're underwater most of the game, and it's horror.
Yeah, you're on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, but maybe it does go underwater at some point.
I believe it does, so I was like, that actually might scare me.
Yeah. Underwater stuff. Oof, man. Very brutally scary, in my opinion. All right, there is some Nintendo stuff, but we'll cover that a little bit later in the Nintendo kind of a blowout. On the Epic Game Store, last week we were mentioning that the third game that had like wrapping paper over it, we didn't know what it was, also had cat pictures on it.
Right, yes.
Indeed, it is the sequel to the other one they gave away. This is Cat Quest 2, which I've also played a little bit of. Very similar. Again, has co-op, running around in a cute little world, fighting monsters, upgrading your little cat as it goes on its quest. So
awesome.
Add that one to your Epic Game Store library. All right. If you have Amazon Prime, you also get a bunch of free games every month. Make sure to redeem these as well. And I think there's a bunch. There's like 20 or something. So we're going to go through these pretty quick. Devin, we'll just alternate. I'll have you like read. I'm not sure if we'll read the whole paragraph, but read the title. And if there's a sentence that looks appealing, read that one. But here we go. Here's kind of the highlights here. Just looking at them, I have played Gravity Circuit, and it's kind of like a riff on Mega Man X. It's very cool. So let's scroll through these really quick.
Mafia 3 Definitive Edition.
Nice.
Combat Vietnam. Lincoln Clay knows this truth. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When his family is wiped out by the Italian mafia, Lincoln built a new family and blazes a path of revenge.
Heck yeah. Ooh. Minecraft Legends. Plan your strategy, face the piglins in epic battles. But be warned, they always fight back. There you go.
Gravity Circuit. Flashy, action-packed 2D platformer.
Nice. Paleo Pines, a charming island known for its friendly dinosaurs. Quirky townsfolk, and mysterious past. Befriend those dinos and enlist their help. Wow.
Clouds and Sheep 2. Haven't played the first. A highly, eagerly anticipated sequel of the first. Mm-hmm. The cute sheep are finally on the loose again. Mm-hmm. Solve countless quests. Nice.
All of those ones are available now. Then on the 10th, Dreadout 2, another sequel to a highly loved game, Dreadout. A third-person horror adventure that draws inspiration from Indonesian urban legends. There you go.
Endless Space Definitive Edition. Turn-based 4X strategy game covering space colonization in an endless universe.
Wow. God's trigger. When an angel and a demon team up to kill their way into heaven and stop the apocalypse, bullets will fly, and blood will be shed.
New York Mysteries, Power of Art Collectors Edition. Laura's on a new mission to discover the history of the mysterious fantasy world paintings, unaware of the monstrous plan behind this evening's mystical events.
Also on the 10th, Projection First Light. Follow Greta on a or Greta 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 on a puzzle platforming adventure through a mythological shadow puppet world.
Far Away. Faraway?
Probably Far Away.
Far Away. Director's Cut. Adventure game. You're an adventurer exploring ruins of temples full of challenges and mysterious riddles.
Interesting. It says here a modern tribute to Myst. That's the sentence there that would make me most interested. Myst is like
I didn't know what that was, so that sentence sucked for me.
That's all good. Gloomhaven, which is one of the most successful, biggest, dungeon crawling board games of all time. And this is the digital version, obviously. On the 17th, tactical RPG and dungeon crawling. It's supposed to be great.
The Last Spell.
Whoa. Too far. Whoa, what happened there?
Whoa. The Last Spell, tactical RPG. You have to defend a city against hordes of deadly enemies.
Wow. Fashion Police Squad. Our fashionable city is under assault. Baggy pants, dull suits, sightings of socks with sandals. Time to serve some good old-fashioned justice.
Genesis Noir. An adventure spanning time and space. There's a love triangle between cosmic beings.
Wow.
Becomes a bitter confrontation. Jump into the expanding universe and search for a way to destroy creation and save your love.
Crazy. Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, very famous game, I think, from the PlayStation 1. One of the darkest games of all time, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain takes gamers on an epic quest through a gothic universe. I almost just read the whole thing.
I know, I've almost started doing that too. Berserk Boy. High-speed action-packed platformer, Metroidvania elements.
Ooh.
Vibrant and stylish pixel art.
I might have to check that one out. The Last Show of Mr. Chardish. The actress Ella returns to the abandoned theater to uncover a preserved collection of extraordinary performances. Hand-painted worlds collect lost pieces of the past.
Wild Country. Cozy competitive card game. And strategy.
Yeah, collect cards. Crazy. On the 24th, Thief Gold. Stalk your prey on the quest for stolen goods with your blackjack, sword, and an assortment of unique arrows.
Troublemaker. Grab a backpack, boxing tape, and focus on what high school is all about. Beating the ever-loving crap out of one another.
Wow.
Whoa.
Kraken Academy. Welcome to Kraken Academy, a Technicolor fever dream that for legal reasons can only be described as technically a school.
Priest Simulator. This may be the last one. A mockumental action game. Go forth and rock in the absolute weirdest and most messed up simulator in the history of sandbox shooters.
Wow. Some of those sound a little iffy. Some of them sound cool, though. So make sure to add them to your collection. I was hoping there would be a picture. Oh, there is. A Berserk Boy. That doesn't look like pixel art. It must be pixel art when you're in the game. Well, that is all of the games for Prime for the month of April. And I think that is it, right? For our games to subscription services.
We haven't been playing that much.
We haven't.
Because we've been busy.
Because we were gone.
I got two things to cover.
Cool.
I finished Tears of the Kingdom. We've talked enough about it. I love the game. I think it's fantastic. But I do think it's lacking in end game material. Making an open world game and seeing a repetition of the same boss with a slightly different title isn't my idea of like the most fun time.
Yeah. I feel like that's a game where you try to stack as much in as you can before you go to Ganon. Because after post Ganon, I'm just like
post Ganon.
Yes,
I tried to dabble back in it and I was like,
yeah.
For what reason?
Yeah, I agree.
What else did I play? Played a little Fortnite today. New season. I think it's a new season, roughly, maybe kind of new.
I think you're right.
We actually played that on controller today instead of KBM. And I will tell you what, the game looks so much better on console.
Looks better.
I think it's because the console just runs the game at the graphics it's supposed to run at. The PC, you can change everything.
All the settings. Yeah.
And you lower everything down so you're getting the most FPS. But man, the lighting and still running at 120 frames on the PS5 was beautiful, but trying to aim at skilled Fortnite players can be extremely difficult
Yeah.
on a controller. And so I kind of missed the keyboard mouse, but it was fun. I always have a good time playing Fortnite. We played with some friends, we were able to voice chat, and that's what really made the game good. I guess I have one more game to talk about.
You do.
Split Fiction, a co-op adventure. The game is only co-op, bounces between sci-fi and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Very weird story. I kind of tried to pay attention to the story, and it was interesting, kind of cool. Beautiful game.
Is it prettier than It Takes Two?
It's just different, I would say.
Oh, okay. It Takes Two is much more like... Yeah, I agree. Kind of like, they look like puppets.
Yes. The aesthetic is just way different. The thing I like about Split Fiction and It Takes Two is you never do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they haven't mastered every part of the game where, like, this section you have dual pistols and jetpacks, and it's good, but maybe not great in those scenarios, but you'll do that for 10 minutes, and next thing you know, you're a frog. And you're like, oh, okay, let me learn the mechanics of this frog. And even if they're not perfect, it's pretty, it's fun.
Yeah.
You're in voice chat once again. Co-op games have my heart because it's fun to experience with someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
But those are the only 3 games for me. Doesn't look like you have any video games.
I don't. I'm such a poser.
Unreal, pal.
I know. I was going to say, not to I hate giving people like expectations, but I have heard that the last level on Split Fiction is like top tier, like next level unbelievable.
Oh, really?
So there you go. Now your expectations are through the roof.
Now I'm ready.
I ruined it all for you. So there you go. So you got that to look forward to in the next few days. I was gonna pull up some videos of like your you don't have VODs on, but I feel like it does. Well, at least show me clips and stuff, right? Of like, does it have your most recent one? I don't know. But then I forgot you're banned right now. Your channel doesn't exist.
It doesn't. You can't find it at all.
Which is kind of funny. All right. In board games, we played a few in St. George, which was fun. I feel like I think they all went over well. There was one. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. So first, let me see. Let me go back to the screen. We played a game that I just got called Ito. And this one is more of like a social activity, really, than it is like a game. You're trying to win, but it's cooperative. You all either win together or you don't. And the premise is there is a deck of cards with the numbers 1 to 100 on them. You shuffle those, give everyone a number. Then a category is chosen. I don't even know if I remember any of the categories we had. Something you wouldn't mind staring at forever? Was that one?
Yes.
And
something you could stare at
for all
day.
Yeah, all day. That was it. Something you rely on.
Mm-hmm.
I think was one.
There's an example there. Famous people you would like to be.
Yeah, or size of animals. And then from that point on, in whatever order you want, people can start giving clues, and you push your card into the middle face down. And so if it was size of animals and my number was 20, I might say like, I don't know, small dog or something, or a cat. I don't know. And then one at a time, everyone gives their clue. And the goal is you need to get these cards into ascending order with those clues. And so there's a lot of table talk about like which cards should go before which other ones, and what does the category even stand for and mean.
Right. Everyone interprets it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this game causing like intense arguments in some scenarios.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A little bit like heated.
Our family's pretty like mellow.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't like ever a time where we disagreed about where a card should go, really. Like sometimes we weren't sure, but we'd talk about it and then kind of come to a consensus. But yeah, I think you're probably right. Depending on the group you play with, it could change that. I was very surprised by this game. Liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
It was funny.
It was very funny.
Yeah.
Probably some of the... Again, I think if you play it with people you're really close with, it would go over the best. But yeah, I don't know. We played probably 5 or 6 rounds, I think, and we only won 2 of them. But on some of the others, we were way close. Like I think we were playing with 7 or 8 people. So you flip over each card one at a time to see if they are in order, and we'd have like all but one of them, or 2 of them swapped that shouldn't have been, and they were like 47 and 49 or something. So, yeah, that one was a good time. I really liked it.
Yeah, if you want to laugh, this is a good game to get.
Yeah, again, it's not a strategy like game where you're trying to beat your opponents. It's just kind of you have a fun like talk experiment for 10 to 15 minutes, and you give clues and talk about what they mean. Put the cards in order until you're content, and then flip them over, and it's a fun reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I do like games that have like a fun moment at the end of the round where something's revealed. Like we just played a different game a minute ago that we'll go over, and it also has a fun reveal at the end of each round.
Yeah,
that is a fun
agreed.
moment where like you don't exactly know, but something's flipped over, or
yep,
that's fun. Okay, before we talk about that game that I just mentioned, we did also play. And before we actually go to that one, I forgot to put one on here, so I'm gonna go to it first. We played Flip 7. And it must have a space between the word flip and the number 7. It sure does. And this game went over really, really well as well. I've had it for a few months, and you can see here I rated it a 7 initially. But I feel like the more that I've played it, the more we've liked it. So I don't know, my rating might actually have gone up a little bit. But pretty simple game. It's kind of like blackjack, where someone will be the dealer, and then when they come to you, you either say like hit me, give me another card, or pass, and then you bank all your points for the round. So it's a push your luck game. If you ever flip over 2 of the same number of card, you bust and don't earn any points for the round. There are a few twists on it. There are some special cards, a freeze one that lets you like force somebody out of the round, a flip 3 card that either force, where you can choose to play it on yourself or anyone else, and it forces them to immediately flip 3, so their likelihood of busting is pretty high, or a second chance card that saves you from busting once. And just those little tweaks, I think, make it pretty dang fun. So yeah, I don't know. We played 2 rounds of this one. What do you think of Flip 7? Was it your first time playing it?
It was, yeah. I actually really enjoyed this. A little bit of deduction, a little bit of luck.
Yeah, you could card count, but it's a little tricky because the deck is pretty big.
Yeah, using a little bit of mathematics. I don't know if you just went over this. I may have been daydreaming, but basically, if you get a 10, there's 10 10s.
Yeah, I didn't
in the deck.
Explain that.
Yeah. If you get a 2, there's 2 2s. So if you get a 2, the likelihood of you getting another 2 right after that is extremely low. So you would want to continue hitting.
Yeah.
Once you start getting numbers like 8, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s,
get more nervous.
It gets a little bit risky unless you have a special card.
Yeah, but they are worth more points.
Yeah.
Because they're worth their face values.
I almost won the second game because I had a number of 30 points per round. If I could hit that or get close to it, I would stay. So I never busted, and I just followed the leader like all the way to the last round.
Okay. That's cool that you tried like a different strategy. I haven't committed to one like that. But yeah, that's a good one. I like Flip 7. It's a good like $10, $15 card game. I think I've introduced it to a lot of people, including my wife's family, who play games even less than our family does, and they all really liked it too. If you've ever played blackjack or something similar, I think people kind of understand like the hit me kind of thing with like another card. So it's a good one. Then we'll go to Rebel Princess really quick. This was my first play of this one. It's basically a riff on Hearts, the trick-taking game, where I think it's is it the Hearts or is it the space? There's a certain suit that you don't want because they're worth points and you don't want points. That's what this game is, with like some modifiers and special cards, and each person has like a princess card with a special ability on it. But it's a trick-taking game. You're trying to not get the prince cards, or if you do get a prince card, you can double down and try to shoot the moon, basically, and get all of the prince cards, which would normally give you 17 points, which is bad. But if you get all of them, then you get negative 10 points for the round. So it's pretty simple trick-taking game, really. Again, you have like a few princess cards that do something special, and then there are cards that determine at the beginning of the round how many cards you pass and in what direction, and if the round has some like overarching special ability. And I do think those twists on it give it just enough differentiation from Hearts to make it fun. I don't know that I introduced it to the right group. I played Hearts a lot on our computer growing up. It was like Solitaire, Hearts, that pinball game, and some others. And so I just kind of assumed that everyone else had played a lot of Hearts, and I was like, oh, this will be good. But nobody else had played Hearts, I don't think. So it was a little more of a slow burn getting into it. But
I had fun with this game. I think that it's good. I like the differences per round. There's kind of different rules per round, which introduces something different every 5 minutes, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
The passive abilities with the princesses, you get to choose between 2 princesses at the beginning of the game. I should have taken that more seriously because my
some
princess
of them seem
ability,
better than others.
Oh, it didn't seem balanced at all. Like,
Yeah.
I never even wanted to use my princess card at all. But our sister used hers multiple times to swap out her decision she had made 10 seconds earlier.
Yeah, she could play a card into the trick. Then when the trick was done, she could swap the card that she played from the trick with one from her hand.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
My ability was like, choose who goes first.
Yeah, choose who leads, yeah. Which is also like pretty good, but doesn't seem as strong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably more depth to this game than I've found at this point. But if you like Hearts, this is a twist on that. It has quite a few different cards that you shuffle in order to set the 5 cards that will be those round kind of dictator cards. So there's probably quite a bit of variability there, and you can play as the different princesses and stuff. So
it's hard for us to make a judgment call in this game because we did like the tutorial mission basically.
We did, yeah.
We didn't really dabble in the extra cards and
we played with the starting set of round cards, and like I mentioned, 4 of the 5 of us had never played Hearts, and so it was I think it ended up going pretty well, but the first round I was like, I probably should just end the game and we'll play something else.
All of us were trying to understand what trick taking even meant. We're like, huh?
Yeah, that was something, but I think it's good. I need to play it a few more times with either the same group or people that have already played Hearts. And then Devin, really quick, we'll go to the screen here for a second, but I'll probably go down to the table momentarily. But we just barely played Dracula versus Van Helsing. I played this on the trip with one of our younger brothers. I played as Dracula and lost, I think, in the last round. And I think today you played as Dracula and you lost in the last round, I think.
I think I lost in the 4th round.
Was it only the 4th?
I think so, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this game, first off. I'm going to go down to the table because I think
maybe it was the last round. I don't know.
I can't remember either. But let me just make sure that's swapped. Yeah, we're down here at the table, aren't we? Yeah. It's a pretty simple game. Basically, there are 5 different districts in the city, and if Dracula can turn all 4 of the people in any one of them into vampires, he wins. And Dracula has 12 hit points, these little hearts. And if Van Helsing hits him 12 times, then Van Helsing wins. And if Van Helsing hasn't won by the end of 5 rounds, then Dracula automatically wins. You have these cards that that go in these trays, and they will be facing just you. There are 4 different suits, numbers 1 to 8, and the order that they're in the tray matches the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different districts of the city are kind of lined up with your tray. And so on every turn, you're flipping over a card, looking at it, and deciding, am I going to keep this card and replace one of my other ones and discard that one? Or am I going to discard the one I just drew for its ability? Whichever card you discard, you have to use the special ability of it. And the higher cards have better special abilities, like the 7 lets you change which suit is the trump suit, which is like a huge change for the round. The 8 card, if you discard it, you can just end the round like immediately. I don't know, it has some very cool twists. And at the end of each round, there's a couple different ways around can end. I won't go into all of that right now, but you go district by district, and both players flip over the card to see who won the district. And either Dracula will flip one over, or Van Helsing will take one of his Dracula's hit points. Really, really liked this game.
Oh man, I was shocked with how much I liked it.
Yeah.
It's a perfect balance of strategy, luck, unique abilities. The fact that if I think I'm sitting in a good position, I can just end the round right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. The card abilities are good. They're easy to understand, quick to learn, cool aesthetic game.
Yeah.
It's nice we could play again as the opposite character.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they just did so much with such a small game.
Yeah.
I was impressed by it. Honestly, I would it's like a 9 for me.
Yeah, I think it is very excellent at what it is. It's also fun that there's a little bit of deduction. You're like, and even some bluffing. You can like really like fake the other person out a bit, like on a certain district, or swap a couple cards in your hand and make them think, oh, he's putting something strong there, and then it totally not be. So I think there's probably some mind games to the game that we didn't even, or at least I didn't even really fully get into. I felt like you grasped the game faster than I did. I just had a really lucky round where I won all 5. Mm-hmm. And taking 5 of your health that round, I think, helped me a lot.
Yeah, I was killing it.
You were beating me until then pretty badly. So yeah, I don't know. I think this game, I think it's excellent. Really, really good. If you want like a 2-player game that isn't super long, I think it took us about 40 minutes when we played, but it was Devin's first time playing. I taught him how to play. It says 30 minutes here on the box. I think it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's a good 5 rounds. Some of the rounds will be really fast because someone thinks they have a good hand and they end it quick. And some of the rounds you might get almost all the way through the deck because you're both kind of jockeying for position. It's great. Dracula versus Van Helsing. Really, really like it. I have another kind of similar game called what's it called? Is it Jekyll versus Hyde? It's right here in my closet. Let me look. Now I want to try it. It's I think it's just called Jekyll versus Hyde. And yeah, like I said, now I want to try it. It's a bit different than this one, but one person plays as Jekyll, the other is Hyde, and similar idea, but it kind of has a what do you call those? A track where the marker will move back and forth. Tug of war, that's what they call it. Kind of track in the middle. So I love a good 2-player game. And this one's not so in your face where like you're gonna be mad at the other person after. Some of them are that way, but this one isn't. So really excellent. Loved it, loved it. All right, Devin, I think that's it for board games that we played this week. So we're going to talk just briefly about things we're excited about. And I think there are just a few games coming out this week. I think the 2 that are most interesting to me are this one that we've talked about a couple times on the show, Croc, Legend of the Gobos Remastered. I think came out today, if I'm not mistaken. And man, look at it. Love it. And it does just look like more crisp and clean. Reading some reviews, people have said it's a pretty great remaster, so I'll probably get it. I don't know that I'll get it right at launch, which, if I had unlimited money, I would. It's just when it's the right time, I will get it for sure. I really hope they do the second one as well, because it's a bit more involved, if I remember correctly. You're like finding parts to cars and stuff, and it's a bit more of like has a hub world, and I don't remember it quite as well as I remember this first one too. So anyways, excited about that one. And then we already talked about South of Midnight. I think that's the other game that I would be most excited to play that's brand new right now. It has a very cool like art style that we already talked about. And I like a good like kind of halfway creepy story. And some of the creatures in this game are like very cool. There's like giant fish and crocodiles, and in some of the screenshots that I was looking at today, there's like a big, what would you call it? It's like a witch doctor lady who was like way bigger than you, and like her hand with like huge fingernails was like reaching through like this building. So I don't know. I like the vibe. Not exactly sure even how the game plays really, other than I know there's a little bit of combat and puzzles, and you're trying to like clear like this evil fog from the world or something. But anyways, if you have Game Pass, should be on there I think next week. So kind of looking forward to that one too. Anything specifically that you are looking to play, Devin? At least video game wise?
Resident Evil F. I just don't know when it comes out.
Oh yeah, that one just had its kind of trailer presentation last week. Did you end up watching it?
I don't know if I saw the presentation. I've seen some things about the game.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I love the Japanese setting. It's like in Japan, and I think in like the 60s or 70s. So it has a cool vibe for sure. I think it's a next year game. If I
Oh, we gotta wait that long.
maybe it was this year. I can't remember, to be honest. It's not imminent though. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have any brand new games I'm excited to play. I'm gonna be scrolling through the PlayStation Store because they had a new like spring sale that just started I think yesterday, and I haven't gone through it all yet. So some stuff to look at. Might be time to try Alan Wake 2. I know it's on the sale and a few other things. Again, I can't afford to buy all my games at full price, so I'm always scouting those bad boys, which does help with the game dull.
Yeah, it does.
If nothing else. So, all right. As far as board games are concerned, I think there's two that I'm pretty excited about. I got a shipping notification, I think 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, for my copy of the expansion to Fractured Sky is on its way. It's in Missouri right now.
Wow.
On a, I don't know if it was UPS or FedEx or DHL. It's on a truck somewhere. So it's this little black expansion called Rift. And I think the shtick for Rift is that the Starfall, which are like the victory points of this game, are different colors in this version. And if you can collect like multiples of the same colors, here it is, then I think you get a scaling number of points. And so you're more incentivized to like go after not just any Starfall, but like specific ones if you already have that color. I think
That's a good addition to the game, because if I remember right, when I played this, I was like, why do I need to go over there instead of here to collect the same thing?
If they're with the same amount of points and everything. Yeah. So I hope it'll just, and I think it's they call it a micro expansion. So it's not going to add like any crazy rules or anything. It's just, hey, if you did focus on the same colors, then that makes a difference. So I like that kind of expansion that just like adds a little more thought, but doesn't add a ton more rules, because that can be frustrating to be like, okay, do I need to keep the expansion separately since it's so complex and has a separate
And now
rule?
let me refer the new rule book to the old one, and does that trump this now?
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. It'll probably be here early next week, I would imagine, since we're just about at the weekend. And then another one that I haven't got a shipping notification for yet, but I think fulfillment just started 2 days ago, so I should be getting the email pretty soon, is Deep Regrets.
Well, this is the one with all the ugly characters.
It is, that we talked about some months ago, kind of inspired by Dredge, and like this really weird art style, and you're trying to catch cool fish on your boat but not go too crazy. I hope that the gameplay kind of stands up to the art style, because the art style is like, wow, like 10 out of 10, like so cool. And I've watched like one gameplay video of it, and I was like, okay, that looks pretty cool, but it looks a little lighter than I thought it maybe was. So we'll see. I think he's about to launch an expansion campaign for this game as well. Hopefully that's not for a few months until people have had an opportunity to play this a bit. But I'm all for more weird sea creature stuff if the game is really good. So excited for both of those. All right, Devin. I think those are the games that we were excited about. that brings us to the
big boy Mini-Nuke.
Yeah, news Mini-Nuke, and this time Mario is sitting on the news Mini-Nuke, and he made it a news big nuke.
Absolutely.
That wasn't a very good metaphor, but basically this is the week of Nintendo, and the reason for that was they had their big Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday morning. Since they're in Japan, they post them at different times. So that 7 a.m. time was a little brutal. I didn't watch it until about noon. Lots of stuff in here. I don't think we're going to go through like every single detail, but I just wanted to go over like the highlights. And what they did show, talk just briefly about what they didn't show in the presentation, and then what details have come out afterwards, which I thought was very interesting. Some of the things they purposely did not talk about in the but they start here with Mario Kart World, which looks amazing.
It really does.
It looks so good. I think 24 player races, which is awesome. And I think kind of the shtick is there are different regions of this world that are all connected. And so there are like standard Mario Kart races in those regions. Then you can also do very unique races with like, okay, we're going to do this race and this race, but then the path on the way between those two regions is also a race to get to the second race. So like you can make unique like different routes, and there's a free roam mode in the entire world. You can just drive anywhere, and I guess you can grind rails, which is kind of great.
And drive on walls.
And wall jump. You can be a cow on a motorcycle.
On a radio.
So I don't know. It looks bonkers. Looks fun. I think it was smart of them to open with this because it does look really, really great. And there hasn't been a new Mario Kart game since 2014.
Wow.
So 11 years. So yeah. Hopefully it's got the goods, because I think Mario Kart 8 now has like 96 levels because they've released so much expansion content for it. I think I also heard that this version is taking away like the different car components where you choose like wheels and the parachute and then the body of the car. And a lot of people got really into that. Like, what's the best like build and the motorcycles and stuff.
Right. And the character weight and acceleration, exactly. All that stuff.
So it'll be interesting. There's some funny characters, and it looks like there's a lot of them. I hope there are as many levels and as much like cool stuff you can do with the cars, and obviously that the racing is really good. So excuse me, that's what they started with here. And why do I have like French subtitles on? Who knows? Looks really, really cool. Next up, they went over that C button that we talked about last week. And I'm trying to remember what the term they used for that was. Game chat, I think, is the new feature. Very Nintendo of them to come up with a entire new term for
Discord.
Something that's existed for a long time. Yeah, or Discord. I do like that they try to make like things like that very family friendly, whereas like connecting in Discord can be a little tricky if like you're playing on a console and then you want to use that on your PC or your phone, whereas this is just push a button and you can connect with your friends, chat immediately. There's a mic included on top of the Switch 2, so you don't even have to have a headset. It's supposed to have good noise canceling as well. You can also like screen share all of their screens. You can play different games at the same time. You can do their next feature called Game Share. Again, something that like PlayStation's had for a long time, where if one person has a game and that game has like a split screen mode, you can like invite others to play with you. Some of the games will like interject your face right on the screen with this camera that can connect to the top now. So I don't know. There's quite a bit there. Game chat, I think, was the main thing, though. Being able to chat with your friends and not have to use the silly voice chat app that for the original Switch, you had to use the app on your smartphone. So nice that it's built in. Then they went into Switch 2 details. And I mean, not a ton of them, but some of like the high level points. The screen's bigger. It's 7.9 inches instead of 6 point whatever it is. Same thickness. I think it was 6.5, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, 6.2. That's quite a bit bigger. An inch and a half-ish bigger, the same depth. It's a 1080p, thank goodness.
Yes, sir.
Would have even maybe liked a little bit more than that, but I'm glad it's not 720. And I think one of the biggest wins of the device is it has 120 frames on the
Agreed.
on the screen, which is super cool. So I'm really glad they went for that. It is LCD, it's not OLED, but there were some hands-on impressions that people got to do today at a special event in like New York or something. And they said even though it's LCD, it looks really, really good, especially because it has HDR and like it's pretty vivid was the word that was just here on the screen. The Joy-Cons attached with magnets. The sticks are bigger. Bummer, the sticks are not Hall effect sensors. Somebody asked them specifically about stick drift since that was such a problem with the first Joy-Cons, and they like halfway refused to answer and just said the sticks are bigger and smoother and more durable. But
and we like selling you a new set of Joy-Cons for $80.
They're actually $90. We'll get back to that in a minute. USB-C ports. There's now 2 of them, one on the bottom and on the top. You can charge the device on either one. And we just saw that camera attachment that, that's probably why they added the one on top to have cool attachments. They confirmed the mouse mode, which I really wonder how accurate it is. If it's accurate, it's really cool.
Yeah.
They show you like playing some games with it in a minute that we'll talk about. The stand is larger, has 256 gigabytes of built-in storage instead of 64 like the original Switch. The dock has a fan in it to try to keep the device cool, and docked it can go all the way up to 4K 60. It uses, what do they call that, DLSS?
Anti-aliasing.
Yeah, exactly. I think. Yep. But it is cool that it can get that high. And they do mention you can do 120 frames at lower resolutions as well, as long as your TV can support it. They mentioned like better audio and directional audio and stuff too. I think the main things for me are like the nicer screen though. They didn't really go over like the processor and the power, but that's not really Nintendo's thing. They don't talk about power very much, so I didn't expect them to like go into all that. And then I think they ended this segment by saying that it was coming out on June 5th. Do they say that right here?
It is June 5th, yes.
Oh, I guess they didn't say it right there, but yeah, it's June 5th. Kind of missing from that segment were prices. I thought they would go over that at the end of the video, but they didn't do that either. So we'll talk more about pricing in a little bit. But at this point, they hopped over to some, not games yet. Well, I guess there is some. First one is this bit of software called the Welcome Tour. Basically lets you walk around a virtual Switch 2 and click on little prompts all around it that'll tell you stuff about like, here's where the magnets are, here's how the stick works, and all kinds of just things like that. Surprisingly, not free.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a paid piece of software, which is really weird because like Astro's Playroom that came with the PlayStation 5, free, and was like a full-blown like 6-hour game, which was pretty awesome. So I was a little surprised by that one, but when we come back to pricing and how expensive all of this is, actually not very surprising. But they talked about that for a minute. Talked about the game cards. They're now a different color. They're red. I think it shows it right here. Yeah, red game cards. Same shape. They do send data faster, and they go over that in the Switch 2 you can't use a normal micro SD card. It has to be an express micro SD card because it needs the faster speed in order to keep up with the better games. What else did they go over? Then they went over the new Pro controller. And Oh, I really do like the Pro Controller on the Switch. I think it's excellent. Trying to get right to it. And this one looks really cool. Like, I really like how it looks. Like the top being a different color. Like a light gray in contrast with the dark gray. It has a audio jack for headphones on the bottom, which is nice now. And back paddles.
The back paddles is amazing.
Yeah, way nice. Only 2 of them, but I think 2 is plenty for most people. So I don't know. I think the Pro Controller looks cool. Again, didn't give the price of the Pro Controller, but we'll get back to that in a minute. All right. Then they talked about basically games that run on both systems, Switch and Switch 2. What they're calling them the Switch 2 version of those games, the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. Some of the games that they highlighted here are Mario Party Jamboree. It has like a different mode called Jamboree TV, and it runs at a higher resolution. This one uses that camera to like pull your friends into Mario Party, and has some new mini games with the Switch 2 like controller like usage built in. So that was kind of the shtick there. You can aim on some of the levels with the mouse controls. They have Switch 2 editions of both of the Switch and Zelda games that have like a smartphone app where you can track, like use your map and it'll direct you to stuff. And you can share things you've discovered with other people on the app. Kirby and the Forgotten Land has one that has like a new, like, I don't know if world is the right word, but yeah, Star-Crossed World is what they call it actually. So new bits of DLC in that. And then Pokemon ZA also had a little shout out here. Then they talked about Metroid Prime 4 that also has a Switch and a Switch 2 edition. And in the Switch 2 edition, you can play at 4K 60 or 1080 120. And you can also aim with the mouse controls, which is pretty cool. Again, as long as they're very accurate. I wonder how accurate they'll be, especially I imagine my kids like trying to use it on the couch or the carpet.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be brutal.
And I can't imagine that would be very good.
That's a good point. You typically don't play a Switch at a sitting gaming desk
with a mouse pad. Yeah.
With the mouse pad.
Yeah. So I wonder what kind of sensor they have in there. If it's because I know there are different kinds of mice input devices, but so they went over all of that. Looks cool. Another thing they mentioned is that for any of those games that you have the Switch version of, you can buy an upgrade pack to get basically upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Detail they did not go over is how much that upgrade pack costs. Get to that again later. All right, so they've gone over the Switch, these upgrade packs, some of the details of the system. Now they start talking about some games. First one is called Dragon Drive. And very interesting. I think it actually looks fun. Like take Rocket League, but then put like all of the characters in a wheelchair and make them play basketball. But they can also jump up these ramps. And you move the wheelchairs with the mouse controls on both.
Crazy.
Joy-Con.
People will get so good at that.
Oh, they will for sure. And you shoot with the Joy-Con. You like wave for passes with the Joy-Con. So I don't know, I hope it works well. It kind of reminds me of ARMS, that game that came out for the original Switch that was boxing with both the Joy-Con, but this one, trying to be a little more accurate, I would imagine, with the mouse input. I think it looks cool. Whether it will be fun to play is another question. All right, so I showed that one. Then they went into partner games. We're going to go through these ones really quick. In fact, I'm just going to kind of scrub through, and I'm going to let Devin just read the names of the games that they mentioned there, if that works, Dev.
First one, we do like this.
Oh, yeah.
Elden Ring, Tarnished Edition.
Heck yeah.
We like the next one, too.
Yeah.
Hades 2, which I don't know is it actually released now?
No, it's still in early access. I think they're just saying that once it is at its 1.0 version, it will come to Switch 2.
Perfect. Next is Street Fighter 6.
Yep.
Don't know how to pronounce this one. Daemon X Machina.
I think this is, yeah, Daemon X Machina, and this is either a sequel to the first one or just like an expansion of the first one called, what was the subtitle?
Titanic Scion.
Titanic Scion. Nice.
And the game I've been playing, Split Fiction.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Yep, that one will be fun. A lot of these are coming on launch day, and you can tell just from how many partners were listed at this event, a lot of people want to have their games on the Switch too. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, Split Fiction was next.
This is pretty exciting news.
It is.
You don't get new consoles that often.
No, you don't. So it was fun.
EA Sports FC. Madden.
Yep. EA Sports FC is football club. It's basically FIFA. But they can't use the name FIFA anymore because they had like a falling out with FIFA. So the soccer and football game from EA are both coming.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Seamless world transitions.
I think Hogwarts Legacy is on the Switch. It just has like loading screens between like the doors from inside the castle to outside. Or it was on PlayStation 4 where it had those. I can't remember, but this one doesn't, like the PlayStation 5 version. It, you just walk out.
I wonder if you'll get no loading screens in Tears of the Kingdom.
They showed it at some at that event today. Oh no, sorry, that was Breath of the Wild. And the loading screens they put side by side were definitely better, but they still were there, like loading in and out of a shrine, for example. But on Tears of the Kingdom, it would be awesome if you could just walk in there, because they just have kind of that warpy gate that you can see.
Yes. Through. As you can see here, Tony Hawk.
Yep.
Great game.
Yeah, so fun.
Hitman World of Assassination.
Yeah, which I think encompasses all of the missions from Hitman 1, 2, and 3, which were like the more modern ones.
This one's exciting, 007.
Yep, same company, IO Interactive. They've been working on this 007 game for a long time. It hasn't been out yet, but basically they're just confirming it will also come to the Switch too.
Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster.
Yep, this game came out quite a few years ago, but this is just an HD remaster of it. A lot of people really loved it. I think it came out for the 3DS.
It is cute. It's like mixing intense characters with like this cute art. It looks turn-based. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
Yep. I haven't played a Yakuza game, but there are so many of them. So hopefully that's a good starting
People
point there.
Freaked out about this one. Hyrule Warriors. Age of Imprisonment.
They did. When the trailer started and it was Zelda talking about like the imprisoning war, I was like, oh man, please don't be Hyrule Warriors.
Did you try the first Hyrule Warriors?
No, I didn't. It's based on Dynasty Warriors, that game where like you're fighting on a big battlefield and you do like one swing and 75 enemies like flying. So it's just like big
Sauron simulator
slashy fights. Yeah, kind of. I think I would like these ones better because I like the Zelda universe.
So curious about that.
Yeah.
Next, GameCube coming to NSO.
Oh yes, that's right. So then they took a break from partner games for a minute and talked about where is it here? Yeah, GameCube games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online with the expansion pack, but only to Switch 2, which seems silly. I think they could have got these running on the original Switch, but they
love money.
They want some of these things that'll force you to upgrade, for sure.
And they're going to do it. Their consoles sell better than almost anybody's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to work.
They talked about 3 games that are going to be available on this at launch, and then show some others that will be coming later. And Devin, you'll have to remind me what those 3 are.
Wind Waker.
Right. Yep. Zelda Wind Waker. That's a very fun Zelda game.
Calibur 2.
Yes, sir. There's Link in Soul Calibur.
Oh, whoa. Look at him go. I remember Soul Calibur relatively well. And F-Zero GX.
Yep. So if you had a GameCube, played any of those, you'll be able to on the Switch too. And then they mentioned more will be coming later after launch.
Those are Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah. And then there's also a controller in the same GameCube shape that will work with those games, and will also have the C button on top.
Is that going to be necessary to play the GameCube games?
Mm-mm. No,
I see.
It's like
that's for collectors.
Yeah.
We got more games.
All right. So yeah, then they went back to what'd they go back to? Is it partner games at this point still?
Publishing partner games.
Yeah.
Deltarune chapters 3 and 4.
Yep. This is kind of like the sequel to Undertale, which people love. And I think chapters 3 and 4 have been like rumored for a long time. So this was kind of a big thing for them to have here. I haven't played Undertale or this one, but
it almost looks like a rhythm game in a way. Like,
yeah, very unique.
Huh. Borderlands 4. That's big.
That is cool. That'll probably do very well there, I would imagine. I think that's probably one of your most anticipated games of the year.
It's gonna be awesome. Civilization 7.
And they also show mouse controls for Civilization 7, which will probably be a big deal. I think those are easier to play on a mouse and keyboard because it's all about like dealing with hexagons and moving troops around and stuff.
Oh, I skipped some. WW 2K and NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Survival Kids. I'm stoked about this next one. Enter the Gungeon 2.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights for me as well.
That's amazing.
I don't know if I love the art style, but I could be sold on it. They like went with more 3D kind of look, and it looks like a different camera angle, maybe even too.
Yeah, it might be difficult. I imagine it's difficult. The other one was
very hard. Super in for that though.
Star Seeker Astroneer Expeditions.
Yeah, like a co-op kind of version of that.
Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate.
Yeah, kind of a big deal to have that game there. I wonder how big the crossover is between like Switch owners that are buying Switches for their kids to play Mario Kart, and people that want to play Cyberpunk on the device, one of the most mature games you can ever play.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I'm sure it'll sell a lot.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Intergrade and Hint.
Yep, Intergrade. And then they kind of made a hint at the end, like, stay tuned for more Final Fantasy coming to Switch 2, which definitely makes it seem like Rebirth, the second part, is going to be coming soon.
Next section we're calling Sizzle Reel.
Oh, yeah. Sizzle Reel, baby.
Should I start reading these off?
Yeah, you can do them pretty quick since it sizzles pretty fast.
It'll be sizzling. Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. Silk Song was briefly looked at.
First time in 2 years or whatever.
3 seconds just to tease us.
Hey, but they gave a year. It is coming out this year, according to that video. Yeah.
They're gonna change like what was the animal show that was animated with the sloths at the post office and the fox?
Oh yeah. Zootopia.
Well, it's now Zootropolis. We're gonna go back. We're gonna be in 2027, and Nintendo's gonna be like, no, that showed 2028. They're gonna fool us. It's gonna be whatever. What do you call those? Where you think you knew something in the past, like Pokemon had a black piece on his tail, and now he doesn't. Or Pikachu, Pokemon.
I don't know.
Anyways,
is there a word for those?
They're gonna mess with us. It's not coming out.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But... Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. There it is.
There it is.
Goodnight Universe. 2 Point Museum. That's a new game.
Yeah, pretty new one.
Wild Hearts S. Did we play Wild Hearts?
For a couple hours, yeah.
Okay. Witchbrook. Puyo Puyo. Tetris. Rune Factory. Guardians of Azuma. Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
Looks so good.
Looks awesome. Star Wars Outlaws. Fast Fusion.
Yeah, they kind of
skip forward right there.
I think I forgot that one.
Shadow Labyrinth. Raidou Remastered. Raidou.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. No Sleep for Kaname Date. Reanimal, which I'm excited for.
Very excited for that one.
Yes. That's the makers of
Yep.
number 2.
1 and 2.
And then the makers of Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are also making a game, correct?
That's the game they're making, Reanimal.
Or someone's making a game. Someone's making Little Nightmares 3, but it's not that.
Correct. It's the Supermassive who made Until Dawn and the games like Until Dawn.
If nothing else, y'all should watch our YouTube videos for his knowledge. It's crazy. Okay. Fortnite. That is not Fortnite, but Fortnite will be on there.
Yeah, it was on there for a second.
Arcade Archives 2, Ridge Racer, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, Tamagotchi Plaza, Human Fall Flat 2, and then exclusive to Switch 2, FromSoft game.
Yeah, this was the big one.
I
said, now we're going to show just one more game from our publishing partners. And they start talking about blood here. Oh, I thought it was going to be Bloodborne.
Oh, and all of a sudden you're seeing Bloodborne aesthetic. You're seeing Bloodborne outfits.
Yep.
That triangle-shaped hat is in one of these scenes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know what it is, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Nintendo was like, make us Bloodborne, please, and we'll just put a different name on it.
Yeah, and I'm down. I'm absolutely down.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I am too. Do you want to play it on the Switch too? Which is the only place it is going to be playable.
Do you think that'll hold true? Do you think in the future they'll be like, nah, we're going to put that everywhere?
That's a good question. I mean, like Death Stranding, for example, came to PlayStation, and then I think it had a 5-year like exclusivity period, and then like 5 years to the day it came out on Xbox.
So maybe eventually.
But it's just such a bummer. But, you know, I get exclusive sell stuff, but I thought From was done with exclusives after how big Elden Ring was. Mm-hmm. Like, wouldn't they want this game everywhere? Nintendo must have thrown so much freaking money at them.
Well, they've got it, and they're going to get a lot more.
That is true, but anyways, yeah, the game looks very cool.
It does, and I hope that it's as good. I hope that it's as loved as the other FromSoft games because they're all amazing in their own way.
Looks very unique. Like at one point, the guy jumps like a gap and shoots a gun.
I did see some weird mechanics to this game.
And it's like focused on co-op, I think. I'm going to read this paragraph while the trailer plays. It says, developed for the upcoming Switch 2, The Duskbloods is a PvPvE title with online multiplayer at its core, where up to 8 players vie for supremacy among themselves and against challenging foes. And there's, that guy jetpacking wherever he's going.
That was cool. Yeah.
Very cool From vibes, though. They know how to make a cool boss.
Oh, they really do. Let's just make it as weird as possible.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so, he jumps here. I think he shoots a gun.
I mean, he's wearing Bloodborne pants. His body's that tall, skinny shape, just like the hunter.
Yep. So weird. Like, what is that frog?
That thing's got issues. If you watch here, you will see a Bloodborne hat. Unless it's already passed.
Oh, a hat, huh?
You will see it. There's someone coming down a staircase.
Here he goes. He jumps. He's going to shoot the gun. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, shoot. Look at him go.
That looks like the werewolf.
From Elden Ring.
From Elden Ring, that's right.
Oh, man. Right here.
Yeah, that looks exactly like that.
Same exact
There's T-Rex, man.
T-Rex, man, yeah. It's all so weird. I mean, it's so obviously FromSoft. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It's crazy that they've been super successful because their games are so odd.
And sometimes they don't even focus on graphics.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, this looks fine. Mm-hmm. But the game plays so well and it's so good.
Yeah.
In every other way.
The Duskbloods.
Anyways, we talked about that for a long time.
Well, they deserved it. It was cool.
Kirby Air Riders tease.
Yeah. I guess Kirby Air Ride is a earlier game. And it never got a sequel. Until now. They had this tease here saying, look, we'll show a couple more games here. This one just has like Kirby's star kind of fly in. And then it doesn't really show much more other than like a jet engine kind of appears out of the back of the star. And then the title just kind of comes up and says, Kirby's Air Riders. I've never played the original, but I know a lot of people were kind of pumped about this one. So,
but you're pumped about the next one, which is
I am
Donkey Kong Bananza with a
full
world of you can interact with the whole world, like break the whole world. It seems like
can like dig and punch stuff. Going back real quick to Kirby Air Riders is being directed by Masahiro Sakurai, who famously is the creator of Smash Brothers, and I think directed like all the Smash Brothers games.
Wow.
Kind of strange, like I don't know, for him to direct it, I guess, but yeah, the Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bananza. I really like how it looks.
Oh, DK looks so cool.
He looks way cool. I like that they've like said, let's make a whole new Donkey Kong game kind of from scratch. We'll give it totally new art style, and Donkey Kong will look different too. I hope it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish they would also make like a traditional Donkey Kong Country game at the same time, but even if they aren't, I'm at least glad that like this one exists, because there hasn't been a 3D Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64 probably.
I remember playing that at a friend's house when I was like 8.
Yeah, and that game has a special place in my heart too. Man, it looks so cool. I like how everything kind of has like
Look at that smile,
glossy kind of look to it. It looks very weird.
It looks so cool.
But I'm like super down. This is probably would be my most anticipated game on the platform. I mean, Mario Kart will be great, but I don't play as much Mario Kart anymore as I like did once upon a time. So yeah, this one looks very cool. It was cool to see them end their presentation with a Donkey Kong game, since I know most people prefer Mario, and I do think most of Mario's games are like excellent. He gets more of a focus, but Donkey Kong is in my opinion like more of my favorite character than Mario.
Yeah, they're so good.
Those 2D sections that it just showed too, I'm like, I hope there's a lot of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes with 3D and being able to interact with the entire world and break everything, sometimes can feel overwhelming. It's like, well, I need to break everything in every level because they could be hiding the Master Sword in this mountain.
Right. So yeah, I hope that inside like this big world, there's sections like that where you like pop into a 2D level, and there's a bunch of those. I like how these bosses look, though. There's like some weird creatures. There's like a female Donkey Kong here. I don't know if she's a good guy, bad guy. I don't know. I'm into Donkey Kong Bananza.
Absolutely.
We'll talk a little bit more about that game in a second, because again, they didn't talk about price with any of these, which are details that came out later. All right, Devin, that basically ends the presentation. They stop here and just go over highlights. Like, okay, it comes out, just a reminder, on June 5th. Here's the games we highlighted. Donkey Kong's not till July 17th. Just a little tidbit there. We're going to have a bundle with Mario Kart. There will be more details on the website. Again, because they did not want to have the price in this YouTube video and have it be downvoted to like oblivion.
They are smart, aren't they?
Yeah, they are pretty smart. So just at this point, Devin, what were your opinions just of this presentation?
I thought it was super cool. And for me, never seeing any prices, I was just like, everything's so cool. This is so cool. The specs are so cool.
Yep.
The games that are coming out are so cool. I can't wait to play this new Mario Kart after 10 years. I'm considering buying a Nintendo console, which I haven't done in 20 years myself.
Yep, I agree. That was kind of my thought afterwards too. I was like, man, they showed a lot of cool games there. They had tons of partner games. Everybody wants their game on this thing. It's going to have tons of games. Nintendo showed a few cool games. Ending with Donkey Kong was awesome. Mario Kart World looks super. I don't know much about the Kirby Riders game, but I could be sold on that too. The Switch like features look cool. Like the mouse support 120 frames per second. Bigger screen, up to 4K. I was like, man, this all sounds so good. The only thing that kind of bummed me was like, okay, they got a new system. I hope they announce achievements.
Like trophies?
But I don't know if it seems like Nintendo's just never going to do it. Which is fine. I kind of assumed that wouldn't happen. That's a very David thing.
Well, it is fun to chase those trophies, though.
I like it. It
encourages you to do the extra random things in games.
It does. Like, I'll play your game longer if you throw them in there. I don't understand why they don't do it. It must not make a big enough difference for most people. But, I don't know. All right. Presentation, I thought was great. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Like, if they had ended with, oh, and here is Mario Galaxy 3 or something, like, that would have been like, 10 out of 10, like, so pumped. Then the Nintendo Switch 2 website went up. People got hands-on today. Hands-on, I think, was pretty positive generally. People think the thing looks nice. It's, like, hefty, has a better screen. Like, the games look fun. But then some more details started to come out both on that website and on a bunch of I don't know, other blogs and news media picked things up. So the other highlights and things that they didn't bring up here. It costs $450, which is $50 more than I thought it would be, and $150 more than the first Switch launched at. Obviously, there's a lot going on right now with inflation and tariffs on goods to like the United States from other countries, so that probably affected this a bit. Man, that's a high price for like a Nintendo console. It's going to be more expensive than a PlayStation 5 when it comes out.
Crazy.
Because you can probably get a PlayStation 5 digital version for $400, I think. The bundle with Mario Kart costs $500, which is a pretty good deal because they then had pricing for the games announced. Mario Kart costs $80 digitally, which is a jump up from the $70 price of games. A lot of people have been very upset about this. Games going up in price. I think it's hard. I think that games should cost what they need to cost. Games are very expensive to make. You know, like Grand Theft Auto 6, I think should cost like $100 or something. Like, it's going to be like crazy big. You'll play it for a bajillion hours. I think it makes sense for them to make like their key game here with Mario Kart, maybe their more expensive one. Kind of bold of them to be like, yeah, we'll be the ones to raise the prices. And that sentiment kind of continues into the rest of this here, but the games are actually in certain regions, I think like Europe, if you buy the game physically, it's more expensive than digitally. So it's about $90 instead of $80 if you buy it digitally. Oh, which is crazy. It's also kind of weird. The pricing isn't like fully consistent, which again, I think games should explore the range. Like, we should have games that are $20, $30, $40, $50, $10, I guess, $80, 60, 65, whatever is like the right amount for the depth of the game and like the innovation, and I guess. But like the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild, Link to the Past are also $80. Like, man, but they were like $60 on the Switch, or 70, I think Tears of the Kingdom was. Then it has kind of come out, this part hasn't been confirmed, that the upgrades from the Switch to the Switch 2 versions of these games is a $20 upcharge. And where like, I think Xbox and PlayStation have done like $10 upgrades for like Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff. And so that's a bit of a jump as well. If I want to play the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom, and I already own the game, and I already own that game, and Breath of the Wild, and Mario Party, and I don't remember what the other ones were, Pokemon ZA and Metroid Prime. That's 2020 in order to play the better version of all of those. There are some games that are getting free upgrades or updates, but those are kind of pricey. Donkey Kong Bonanza, for some reason, is only $70. It's not $80. So it costs $10 less. Makes me think, like, is it a smaller game? I don't why is it less? It was your keynote. You ended your presentation with it. Why is it $10 cheaper? So that's kind of weird as well. Then Devin, click on that accessory pricing link. Then the prices for the different accessories also came out. And they're not cheap either. Most, like, the Joy-Cons were already $80, I think, for the original Switch. And Nintendo's like game prices like never come down, and the Switch's price I don't think really ever came down. I think it's been $300 basically the whole time, and I think the OLED version is $350, and the only cheaper one is the Lite, which I think was $200 if I'm not mistaken. The Switch 2 Pro controller is $80, pair of Joy-Cons is $90, the camera's $50, and a dock if you want a second dock so that you can like go between TVs faster without having to unplug and replug in a dock is $110. Um, so I don't know, just given all of these financial details, my like excitement from the presentation was kind of dampened with like, poof, when am I going to have $800 to drop on the device? I'll hopefully get the Mario Kart bundle because then I'm at least getting Mario Kart for $30 off. So that's $500. If I want a single Pro controller, I'm at $580. If I want an extra set of Joy-Cons, I'm adding $90 to that. I don't think I would use the camera or the dock set, so I probably don't need those. But then if I buy Donkey Kong as well, I'm $70 more than that, and like pretty quick, you're at 800, 900. So I don't know. I knew the thing was going to be expensive because the Switch has sold so well. They know people want it. They've kind of got everybody where they want them. And inflation's been crazy, and there's tariffs going on right now too. So all of those things together probably led to this, but it is a bummer that it can't be $399. And you know, the controllers and stuff still be about the same price, and the upgrades can't be only be $10, and it kind of seems like they're, which is very common with almost all technology, but it seems like they're really dinging their early adopters. It's like, you want to switch in 2025, you're gonna pay for it. Whereas if you wait a year or two, you can probably get some of these games a little cheaper and stuff like that. But I don't know. Nintendo game prices don't really come down, so it's gonna be expensive to play games on Switch, which is already like a not even really secondary console for me. It's kind of third. I play games on my PlayStation, and I play some on PC with my Rogue Ally, and then I play mostly just Nintendo's games on the Switch. I'm like, am I gonna pay $800 to play Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, then wait a year for the next Mario game, then wait a year for the next Zelda game? You know, it's just like not a lot of games for me to justify it.
You're gonna have to sell 50 board games.
Probably more.
Probably.
That sounds like a good strategy. I have to do that.
Yeah, that's the strat.
Anyways, Devin, what after all of these details, what's kind of your opinion on the Switch 2 now at this point? After the pretty good presentation, and then knowing, oof, kind of it's going to cost a pretty penny.
If it's worth the price, if the console itself is fantastic and the games are so good, it just kind of encourages me to make a little bit more money because I would love to stream these games, and
yeah,
that just sounds fun to me.
I do want to play it, so yeah. I mean, I feel you there.
I'm like, what can I sell? That's what I'm thinking. What can I sell so I don't have to just take this massive punch of a big portion of money?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It'll be interesting as more details come out. Like, how capable is this thing? Is it really like leaps and bounds better than the first one? Or is there like a crazy upcharge? And I don't know. It'll be interesting to like have Digital Foundry like rip the thing open and really look into all of that stuff, because there's still a lot of unknowns since the video was just yesterday and the hands-on event was today, and there's lots of details. So anyway, Switch 2. Cool that it's real. Coming out in June.
It is.
I don't think I will have one probably until Christmas at the earliest. I would like to, but
I might have one earlier than you, maybe.
Wow.
We will see.
That'd be cool. As the running joke goes, it's either, the Switch 2 or groceries. So
that's hilarious.
It wasn't very funny the first time I said it, and now at the 400th time, it's gotten funnier. All right. Now
we're on to rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire.
We got 4 items for you.
It's going to be really rapid.
I'm going to go through them quick.
Let me just get the computer ready so that I can have them up while you rapid fire.
First one. Sony absolutely looking at potential to bring Astrobot to the big screen.
I would watch an Astrobot movie.
I mean, I probably would too, but for some reason, I didn't get like super hyped up about the Mario movie.
Yeah,
I was just kind of like,
kids really liked it, and I was like, yeah, It was good.
Yeah, like I would say so too. It was good,
Mhm.
but I never was like, I want to continue watching.
But it made
this.
like over $1 billion. So
Yeah, so yeah, it worked. They've got enough to make the Astrobot movie, or that's not them, so never mind.
yeah, but that's all right. Yeah, I would watch it. All right, we've been talking about sales for Monster Hunter Wilds for a little bit, but it's now sold 10 million copies. So there you go.
Wow.
I think it was like 2 and then 8, and I don't remember what the numbers were. It's going fast.
That good? Is it that good? That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of nuts.
Doom.
The Dark Ages got new hands-on gameplay. There's a lot of details. Basically, feels a lot like Doom, but I think the main change is you have a shield. And so it's supposed to be a little bit more like you can kind of stand your ground, you can block and even deflect some bullets back if they're green.
I like that change. I didn't play Doom for too long, but a few hours, and I was like, dang, I'm having to move a lot.
Yeah, you're like strafing and running like crazy. So people are pretty pumped for that. I think it comes out in like May. Ooh. I don't remember, but in the next couple of months.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Sony is making a live action Zelda movie in collaboration with Nintendo. And you might remember last week we talked about Nintendo released a new app called like Nintendo Today or something. It's just to release Nintendo news.
Yes, yeah.
I think the first bit of news they released on there was this. The Zelda movie is releasing on March 26th, 2027. So
did you download the app?
No.
Will you?
Probably not.
I'm shocked by that because you use the Sony app like
I do use the PlayStation app like nobody's business.
Nobody's business.
For video game news, though, I just use Twitter. Because I follow a few people like Wario64 here that are so fast at getting stuff out. Like, it's within like a minute of something happening. I'm like, I could never. And so, like, I just scroll through Twitter and see all the
just texts him and says, post this.
I don't know how he finds his stuff so fast, to be honest. What do you think about a live action Zelda movie? Who's gonna play Link? You gonna be Timothy Chalamet?
I don't know.
Is Link gonna talk?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the.
I'm too down though. I mean,
I feel like he has to talk in a movie, right?
Yeah, or just like, hiya, the whole time.
It's kind of like Mario. Like in Mario, he doesn't talk a lot. He'll say like "woohoo" and like "let's go" and some other things, but then they had him talk in the movie, and it wasn't weird because he has said some words.
Yeah.
Link says even fewer words, so I don't know.
Yeah, what words does he say? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just do that a couple times. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, sir.
He makes some noises. So we'll see how that is. Still 2 years away, though.
I need that clip. That was amazing. Okay.
Was that all the rapid fire?
It is.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, kind of long episode. We're going to hop over to Crowdfunding Corner to end this out. Like my jaw, like needs a rest after all this Switch 2 talk.
You've been spitting the words.
Hey, you've had a lot to say too. Proud of you.
Had a lot to say. Look at me. I just don't know anything. I'm like, I'm going to throw this random thought out. And you're like, well, that refers to the guy who created this game.
No, I don't know very much. We just have a good time. We talk. Whenever you got that first link, just throw it over to me and I'll get the rigmarole going. Blah. I'm gonna talk in Zelda's voice here. Or Link's voice, I mean. Just kidding. All right, that brings us to Crowdfunding Corner for the week of April 4th, I think, 2025. There are 4 games that are ending in the next couple of weeks that I wanted to highlight. And this first one is a quick little card game from Button Shy. They focus on little pocket like wallets that have 18 cards in them and make tons of different games in that 18 card system. This one looks pretty cool. It's called Adventurous, and you will be. It kind of reminds me of like Sprawlopolis, which is one that I have and I really enjoy. But you are creating this like exploration path. I think you get 2 cards each turn, and then you have to like decide where you're going to put them, like to create the path or to create like a rectangle of these icons in order to place like a big discovery along your path. Are you going to discover Triton or hunting at dusk? And the more things you're able to discover along your path by lining up the correct icons and your like adventure line, you score the most points. So it's kind of like a solo play against yourself, try to do better next time kind of game. There is also an expansion that I think is included here on the Kickstarter. Yeah, 6-card expansion has another ship card and 5 more map cards. And it looks like the map cards are double-sided. One side has that like cool like special place or event you're trying to see, and the other side has the grid that has like your adventure line and the icons on it. So I like these kind of solo puzzle games that they make. So that is Adventurous from Button Shy Games. It's on Kickstarter until April 12th, and I think they usually cost $12. So there you go. Next up is a game from Queen Games, and a very popular designer and artist, to be honest. It's called Propeller Islands, and the art is by the Micho, who does like a very specific style of artwork, and I really like his style. I have Architects of the West Kingdom, which he did, which is more people-focused. This one is animals, obviously. And the designer's name is Stanislav Kordonsky.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to pronounce it like that. He's made some very popular games recently. They listed some of them right here. Oh, right here, about the designer. So there's a big list of these games right here. I think the most famous or recent of the two are Nova Roma and Endless Winter. So he's got a pretty good pedigree. Both of them, as it notes here, got really good reviews from sites like the Dice Tower. And in this game, you roll dice. They're placed around kind of this grid, and then on your turn, you take dice from this section. And if you take dice next to some of these tiles, you get to take them and build your own little place. And then if the different locations on your little city have meeples on them, you can use dice to activate them, and you're kind of like activating your own little engine. So it's kind of a tile laying, dice drafting, engine building game. There's a bit more to it than that, but I'll leave that reading to you. You can also get add-ons of their other game and these cool acrylic standees of those 6 funky looking characters. I kind of like the old turtle, to be honest, but that penguin's looking pretty cool too. I don't know. Is that a seal or an otter? I think that one's an otter. I don't know. I like the cool little animals.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So that is Propeller Islands. Also on Kickstarter until April 14th. Okay, we're off of Kickstarter now. We're hopping over to GameFound. This game is called 6 Sojourns. Sojourn. I feel like that word is pronounced slightly differently at times, and I feel like I said it wrong.
I have no idea.
6 Sojourns by Red Raven Games. Red Raven is very famous in the board game arena, and I think they are here in Utah, like we are.
Oh, wow.
The dude who I think founded the company and did the designing of the first games they did, and all of the artwork and the writing and everything, his name is Ryan Lockett. And I don't know why I needed to tell you that, but he's kind of synonymous with Red Raven Games. This game is kind of a remake and a reworking of an earlier game they had called, I think, 8-Minute Dungeon or something. It's a 40-minute game for 2 to 4 players, and it has a bunch of different maps that you can play depending on which edition of the game that you get. You're moving your people around, building houses, and it's an area control game where you're trying to kind of take over the land better than your opponents. There's also different map scenarios. You can like string them together into a what's it say here? Oh, I swear it said you could play like 6 of them as a mini story if you string them together. Customize each game session with your favorite mini expansions or play them all. Oh yeah, here you go. Play through a campaign of 6 games, adding rules and expansions, or you can combine your favorite and play a single session. I really like their cool artwork, and a lot of their iconography and cards are similarly laid out from their other games. Yeah, I don't know that there's much else to say. I think, where is the gameplay section? Let's see if I can find that. I don't think I passed it. Yep, I must have. But basically, depending on which map you're playing, you'll start in different areas. You move your little people around, build houses, trying to control certain spots of the board. And you're doing that by taking one of the face-up cards from this row of 5 face-up cards each turn. Very simple to play. Kind of a step in the lighter direction from some of their other games. I have Near and Far over there, and I think Sleeping Gods is their biggest, most recent one. So, and Creature Caravan. But anyways, that is 6 Sojourns from Red Raven Games, and it is on GameFound until April 14th of this year. Then the last one we're going to talk about this week, is a grouping of expansion modules for a cooperative game called Spark Riders 3000, which is supposed to be an excellent cooperative game. I'm very picky with those, so I don't buy many of them. I think Dice Throne Missions is probably the most recent one that I've played. This one's a bit different in that you are playing with teammates and you're moving around this ship, trying to fix different parts of the ship, and also like upgrade your character and protect it from aliens who fly in their own ships and then are trying to attack you. So you're like building turrets and lasers on the ship. It has a cool looking like a table presence with like these big 3D turrets you're building and shields you're putting on different sections of the ship. If a certain section takes enough damage, it will explode and you have to build it back. And the aliens will like slowly like move from behind you and then on like your flanks to the left and right. There are different missions. You have to play this game with an app, either on a phone or an iPad, and it will let you choose like the mission type you want to play, if it's strictly combat or something else. Again, very popular game from last year, and this is a group of modules that you can add to that game, and another way that you can get a reprinting of that original game. So this one is called Spark Riders 3000, the Galactic modules, and I think it lists here what it adds, which are... Where are you at? 2 new characters. You got Frog and Phil. I do like Frog.
Frog's awesome.
I like Frog a lot. 2 new character boards for Frog and Phil. 2 poker chip help tokens for, can you guess who?
Reiner Knizia.
Yes, Frog and Phil. 6 new double-layered tiles. Look like they're sections of the ship. So new ones. 2 turret slots for double the firepower. Hacking deck, radar, cafeteria, prosperity module, inferno. 2 new turrets, 7 construction cards, 3 cargo minis, 5 premium prosperity cards, 1 standee VIP token, 1 construction and cards display tile, 4 thrusters, a premium insert, 3 new missions. So there you go. You can get us neoprene mat and everything. Yeah, I would love to play this game. I don't know that I would love to buy this game, because I don't know, but it looks cool. All right, those are our 4 games for Crowdfunding Corner this week. Devin, which one of them is your pick of the week?
This week, I'm going to choose this one, Spark Riders 3000.
Oh,
because I don't feel like I've played many games like this.
Yeah.
Using the app is interesting. Different missions. It seems like a very defensive game. You're trying to prep to not be destroyed by the game. It reminds me of that game we played where we each controlled a side of the plane.
Oh, Sky Team?
You can add, Sky Team. You can add modifiers and different difficulties, and you're basically playing defense against a ship not having a pilot, basically.
Yeah.
And seeing if you can land. This one's like seeing if you can survive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love the phone app portion.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't have many games. I probably only have a couple that require an app. I've heard the app on this game is excellent. It has like cutscenes and voice acting.
Wow.
And it's supposed to be very good. Because I know some games that have apps, like some are done much better than others. But.
Yeah. It might be great. I don't know much about it, but it caught my attention more than any of the others.
Yeah. I agree. I think that is a good pick. And I don't know what I want my pick to be, but I think I'm going to go with Adventurous from Button Shy Games. I really like what they do over there, and I hope that they're able to do it for a long, long time. They've had a lot of partnerships with good designers, like Stephen Armini and who is the designer I'm thinking of that has done a lot of their games? I can't remember, but Dustin Dobson and Milan Zivkovic have done quite a few of theirs as well. So I don't know. I like that kind of quick solo game. I'm not usually a fan of like long solo games, but a little quick one I can play in 5-10 minutes. I think it's pretty cool. All right, well, that's going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner for the week of April 4th, 2025. We'll see you next week for episode number 54. Devin, that's the whole show.
Crazy.
What time is it? Past your bedtime. And since the Switch section was so long, I don't know that we'll even do the game deal this week. We'll probably just, we'll meditate for 30 minutes every night, go to our mind palace to think about all of the video game covers we've ever seen so that we're ready for the game deal next week.
Absolutely. I guarantee that's exactly what I'll do.
Yeah. Yep, me too. Cool. Well, I just went back to our faces. I think that was good. Even with the big Switch stuff. 2 hours. I think that's all right.
Absolutely.
Did a pretty good job.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. This is the first episode of year 2.
Yes, it is.
And it was a pretty big one.
Mm-hmm. So it was. A lot of news.
Lots of news. All right, Devin. Well, I need to go to bed. Not really, but you need to go to bed.
I do. Got a lot of stuff to do.
Yep. So we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Make sure to check out supergamebrothers.com to join our giveaway and patreon.com/supergamebrothers to write into the show, get our episodes early, and generally support us over there so we can stay independent. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.